Welcome, cultists, protesters, and propagandistically benevolent billionaires, to episode 552 of an Unearthly Podcast, streaming live on the 24th of January, 2026, and featuring Sarah Jane Smith, Fatal Consequences. Written by David Bishop and starring Elizabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith, Jez Fielder as Josh Townsend, and Tom Chadbourne as Will Sullivan. I am Bill Sylvia, the one in black, and I'm a little surprised that I managed to pull that off without any rehearsal. With me are Alex Fyrehart
Hello.
and Aaron RomeoMoon Burke.
Hello.
A little quiet there, Aaron.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Uh, yes, that's much better.
All right, cool. Sorry, I was mumbling to myself. I apologize.
Ah, thought maybe you did the thing I've done where the microphone is up by your ear. How's everybody's week going?
um,
Uh,
yeah, okay.
yeah, not too bad. Um, yeah, not really gotten up to much. It's basically just been like watching a ton of YouTube and gaming and stuff like that.
Record short banter this week.
This week it's going okay. It's very cold. Took off on Friday. Took off on Wednesday for the snow. Friday for the extreme cold that we had here was, I think the wind chill was 35 to 40 below or so. Yeah.
So about double the wind chill we got. That makes
Mm,
sense.
yeah. So I didn't know if my car would start, so I just stayed home. I was just like,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair.
yeah. Uh,
Even here, the very coldest we got, at least according to the forecast, it was minus 18 after wind chill. I don't know if it ever actually was that cold because it didn't feel quite that cold to me, but um, I'm definitely more used to it than some of our students. But yeah, I had students that were emailing saying that they weren't coming into school on Friday.
hmm. I
Did you have
felt a
more to
little,
that or?
huh?
Oh.
I felt a little guilty because and I was going to come in on Friday anyway. But then I realized, because I was like, oh my gosh, I never get vacation for like snow days and cold days and bad weather days in general. And then I realized they laid off
Mm.
54 people. So out of the 200 that were working at the factory, or 237 that were working at the factory, so there's not much competition anymore for requesting time off. Yeah, so like, on top of that, we have like about at least about 10 more people who are retiring this year, like before the contract in June. So it's even fewer people now. I'm the last one standing. Hmm.
If I can find a good Google image search says this is new and I don't have time to verify, so I'll just
Mm.
paste that into our so we have something on the screen.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know which to go to.
Like I literally just Googled wind chill map Midwest and then I said last 24 hours. We'll see if Google I don't know if Google's trustworthy. Nobody's using this to know whether to go outside the house or not. Um but yeah, so we have a speaker either internal or external every Monday, and our first speaker of the year on Monday has already switched to Zoom, which makes me feel like, okay, do I really want to get up early Monday morning and go into an hour of us talking about a syllabus, and then have nothing that actually requires me to be on campus the rest of the day,
Mm-hmm.
or do I want to just stay home on Monday and avoid the weather and avoid spending money on lunch if I don't do groceries before then? Because I was saying in our group chat, I'm like, the weather is not really great for me to feel like I don't feel great ordering Instacart when the weather's nasty outside. I only tip 20%, which is more than some people. But I'm not exactly like, I'm not tipping $100 on $100 groceries. So I'm not asking somebody to go out in like really shitty weather if I can avoid it. News for me. I started a new semester, and I pushed through my phone anxiety, something I've been trying to overcome for the past 2.5 years. I finally scheduled an appointment with the campus doctor or physician. Um, and then literally they got me in the same week and got me back on my SSRI. So
Oh.
now I'm in that, getting back used to it and figuring out a stable dosage, which will probably need to be upgraded as my body gets used to it again anyway. But it's, good to have it. I'm still having trouble. Like, I'm still not getting straight to sleep, and for a short time, my sleep is probably actually going to be harder for me to get to sleep due to like side effects and such. But once I'm asleep, it's a lot easier for me to get back to sleep, which is good because between my weight and like a surgery I had a long time ago now, I get up to pee a lot at night. So being able to get back to sleep actually is really helpful. Somehow banter so often turns to weather, food, and old age. Or not old age, but aging.
It's all right. It happens to all of us eventually.
The economy needs to improve so that we have more fun things to talk about. It's really what needs to happen. Otherwise, yeah, let's not talk about the world outside the podcast because then we'll be talking about Minnesota.
Oh,
So
not again.
Let's move on to the death cult and the protesters instead.
Oh no.
Oh wait.
Oh god.
Sound soundboard. On tonight's show, we've got some birthdays and news, including some lost stories, some of which we found reported on, and some of which we actually had to go digging for. We don't have any Doctor Who news. We do have some Big Finish news, some sci-fi news that is literally new as of when we're recording this, but by the time it's on YouTube, you'll probably have seen it on other channels. Then we have our episode summary, we have one item of Geek Talk, and then we have our episode summary, review, final thoughts, and ratings.
So going on to birthdays. First up on the 13th of January, we have Jack Watling, Professor Travers in The Abominable Snowman, and Web of Fear. Also the father of Victoria Waterfield actor Deborah Waitling. Would have been 103, but died in 2001 at the age of 78. Also on the 13th, we have our very own Randy McCulloch, Unearthly Podcast Ranson. Would have been 50, but we unfortunately lost him in 2023 at the age of 47. On the 14th of January, we have Gemma Redgrave, who plays Kate Lethbridge Stewart. From 2012 to present, plus work for Big Finish, turned 61. Also on the 14th, we have Ajoa Ando, apologies if I got that wrong, who played Francine Jones in series 3 to 4, plus work for Big Finish, turned 63. On the 15th, we have Richard Franklin. He played Mike Yates from 71 to 74 and again in 83, plus work for Big Finish. Would have been 89, but died in 2023 at the age of 87. On the 17th, we have Malcolm Clark, who did incidental music for 7 stories between 72 and 86. Would have been 83, but died in 2003 at the age of 60. On the 18th of January, we have Christopher H. Bidmead, Was the script editor for season 18 and writer for 3 stories from 81 to 84. Plus work for Big Finish. Would have been 85, but died in 2025 at the age of 84. On the 20th of January, we have Tom Baker, who was the 4th Doctor from 74 to 81. The Curator in 2013, plus work for Big Finish, turned 92. So he's getting there, just like 8 more years. And he'll hit the big triple digit. On the 22nd of January, we have Tommy Knight, who played Luke in the Sarah Jane Adventures and Stolen Earth Journey's End in Doctor Who, turned 33. I keep forgetting he's slightly younger than me, but I'm not all that surprised.
Yeah.
And finally, also on the 22nd of January, we have John Hurt, who played the War Doctor in Name of the Doctor and Day of the Doctor, plus work for Big Finish. And, you know, it's John Hurt, so if we we're going to list off everything else he's done, we'd be here all day. In terms of notable roles. Would have been 86, but died in 2017 at the age of 77.
Yeah, I and the chart I don't list all the celebrity roles for the Doctor.
Yeah.
The Doctor is the highest priority role on
Right,
the list
yeah.
anyway.
So happy birthday to Jack, Randy, Gemma, Ajoa, Richard, Malcolm, Christopher, Tom, Tommy, and John. And moving on from that, we do unfortunately have some lost stories. Given that they are smaller in terms of what I have to say, in terms of we didn't pre-write stuff to read out, I'll probably rattle the other ones off and then come back to Derek Martin.
Just because our source has the shortest blurbs for the others.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because nobody from Doctor Who world reported
Right.
on the other ones.
Yeah, which is especially weird for Marcus Gilbert, but anyway. In any case, we'll start with Tina Packer. We're saddened to learn of her passing. Of the passing of Tina Packer, who played Anne Travers in The Web of Fear. After Doctor Who, she went into a remarkable life in theatre, founding Shakespeare and Company in Massachusetts, and becoming a hugely respected director, teacher, and champion of Shakespeare. And I will say, just to add something else, she did apparently in 2019, she won was given the Shakespeare Theatre Association's Lifetime Achievement Award. So, definitely had an impact if she got that. So, condolences to her friends and family. Moving to Marcus Gilbert. We also learned of his passing. To Doctor Who fans would know him as Anselin in Battlefield, and also what I'm assuming is going to be the last thing he'll have either done in generally, at least going by, I mean, it's Wikipedia, so grain of salt, but last credited role that is listed here is Unit Brave New World Nightfall, where he's playing Anselin again. And I'm going to assume it's a matter of that was recorded ahead of time and is getting released at some point this year. So that will be the last thing we get from him. But folks might also know him as Lord Arthur in Army of Darkness, the third Evil Dead movie. So condolences to his friends and family as well. And moving on to Derek Martin. Derek Martin, the actor best known for playing taxi driver Charlie Slater in EastEnders, has died at the age of 92. Martin was born Derek William Rapp on the 11th of April 1933 in Bow, London. Before becoming an actor, he worked as a professional gambler, motor racer, meat market porter, and debt collector. One hell of a life. He began as an actor playing bit roles and then became a stuntman before appearing in a range of prominent British TV shows. Uh, he also served in the Royal Air Force. In an interview with Doctor Who magazine, he recounted being recruited by Derek Ware, the founder and stunt arranger of Havoc, after filming a pub fight scene. And he said, "Can you drive?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Can you run, walk, ride a horse?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, come see me." So I went and saw him and joined his agency, became a stuntman. Martin was also known for playing multiple roles in Doctor Who, acting alongside William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, and John Pertwee. He was credited for the role of David Mitchell in Image of the Fendal in '77. He also played a crowd member in The Romans, a Parisian in The Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve, an English sailor and Scotsman in The Highlanders, an army soldier in The Web of Fear, Regan's Heavy in The Ambassadors of Death, a unit RSF/RSF soldier in Inferno, a prisoner in The Mind of Evil, and a unit soldier in The Claws of Axos. So definitely one of the more notable bit part actors when you think about it, because like there are a lot of people that get used a lot, but I feel like that's more credits than I've even seen some people who do show up a couple times. He also said, I have all good memories, some painful, falling, getting shot, getting killed. It was enjoyable." Martin reflected on his 60 plus years in television on to Doctor Who magazine. "You're talking to a very, very lucky man." So rest in peace to Tina, Marcus, and pardon me, Derek. And again, condolences to all their friends and family, because yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the most we've covered in 1 week, and
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
never that's like always bad. Like it's bad to have any at all, but like it's gonna happen. But like three in 1 week, and like in like one sort of interim time between, is like damn.
This is like
Right.
literally death comes in threes.
Mm,
Yeah. Although two of them were like the day of
yeah.
or the day before our last podcast. We just they because they weren't reported on, it took longer for us to
Right.
find
Yeah.
them.
And we didn't want to like just like skim over them real quick, like that podcast, because it would have felt really iffy.
Yeah, because it was literally reading tweets at that point.
Yeah.
Moving from there onto news, as I said, we don't really have any episode news. Apparently, Carol Ann Ford did an interview with Radio Times, but Radio Times is apparently now requiring you to have an account to read its articles, so I guess it's not that important. So we move on to Big Finish releases. We have two releases from Big Finish. First off, 13th Doctor Adventures Ride or Die, released on January 13th, written by Roshana Patel, starring Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor and Mandip Gill as Yaz. And then on January 20th, we have the Unbound, or First Doctor Unbound. So this is First Doctor stories, but even more questionably canon than they typically are. Return to Marinus, written by Jonathan Morris, starring David Bradley as the Doctor, Gemma Powell as Barbara, Jamie Glover as Ian, and Claudia Grant as Susan. So you may remember this is the cast from an adventure in I always forget the order of how the documentary named it.
I
Was
think
it
it's
Time
Space
and
and Time. I
Space
think
and
it's
Time?
Space and
Mm-hmm.
Time. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, an Adventure of Space and Time cast. There was also a release for the Eighth Doctor, but I guess it was just a digital exclusive of stories that are already free on Spotify. So I'm really not sure why they bothered.
Mm,
But that's why that other one is not on the list.
yeah.
That is it for Doctor Who news. Moving from there to fantasy and sci-fi news, we don't usually have this segment, but since there was, what was the name of the event? I should have written that down too. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Why are none of these articles saying the
Yeah,
name
I'm
of the
kind of
event?
out of touch with anime news, so.
Um, I should have actually like had that open or written it down somewhere. Um, and it's way buried in the conversations of the various Discord channels that I would be talking about it in. But there is basically a marathon announcement, news, and discussion section on Dragon Ball going on today, which we've known for a couple of months it was happening and that there would be big announcements there. There have been a lot of rumors, and so I'm ignoring the game front for now because I'm not up to date on the recent Dragon Ball games. But these are two things that were both rumored to be happening and are both officially confirmed. So one is Dragon Ball Super: The Galactic Patrol. So you can look at this as season 2 of Dragon Ball Super. This is the first of the 2 arcs that appear in the manga and not the anime as of right now.
Hmm.
Full arcs, not counting the movie retelling because the movie is sort of in the anime already. So this has been awaited for several years. This will be the first arc that was fully completed in the manga before beginning production on the anime of Dragon Ball Super. And then the other announcement is Dragon Ball Super Beerus, and this is another retelling of Battle of Gods. So you can look at this
Ah.
as when Dragon Ball Super first started, it was super rushed. They basically were like, "Oh, people want a Dragon Ball anime. We will make Dragon Ball anime. You animators, very fast Dragon Ball anime."
Mm-hmm.
And it was heavily criticized for the first 2 arcs because of how rushed that output was and what it looked like. So this is basically saying, okay, now we're actually taking the time to do the anime properly and do the first arc.
Hmm.
Even though we've now seen the first arc twice on screen, this will be the third time. And if this does well, probably the second arc will get the same treatment because it's in the same position.
Mm.
So we have basically Dragon Ball Super Season 2 and Dragon Ball Super First Arc Remake coming.
Is it going to be a movie or is it going to be another full
No,
season?
it's going to be it'll be an anime show. I don't know if it's a set number. I don't even like. I know for a while they've been floating the idea of releasing it in seasons instead of as like, instead of like as the long running every week until we run out of material format of anime.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're just
Mm.
going to do like a certain number, 12 or 26 or something episodes,
Hmm.
and then stop and then kind of see, do we want to renew it for next year or not, sort of format.
Mm.
If there is more information, I haven't seen it yet. Like I said, this is kind of live, so anybody who would be writing about it is still writing about it.
Yeah.
And so I haven't had the chance to see any like summary videos that
Mm.
wouldn't require going into the weeds or anything yet. And I was not sitting and watching an 8-hour stream of people making announcements in Japanese with English subtitles. That was not how I wanted to spend
Yeah.
my day when I had Doctor Who to listen to.
Yeah, I was hoping to watch more Dragon Ball Super, but I never got around to it. I was trying to get through Dragon Ball Z in order to like fully appreciate the new Super. So of course, kind of skipping GT since that's not really canon anymore, I don't think.
I mean, if you
Yeah,
want,
it's
depending on who
kind of
you
so.
talk to, it never was.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
there are like there are
you're
purists
more
who'll be like, well, Toriyama wasn't really involved, so it doesn't
Yeah.
count.
you're more than welcome to argue about it in the comments. We definitely appreciate the engagement. I will say basically the way it kind of goes now is that after the Boo saga, the timeline sort of splits into three directions. One direction goes to Daima, one direction goes to Super, and then arguably, if you want to count the manga as the most canon thing, the only one branch goes to the end of Z written by Toriyama, and that at this point is the only one that dovetails into GT. So if you consider the manga as more canon than anything else, then GT is the only one that's canon. And I only say that because I don't give a like I'm past these arguments, and I'm not gonna sit here and do a video essay about what is canon or not in Dragon Ball.
I'm just debating on whether I should watch the rest of GT or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way.
So you will not you probably won't understand what the callbacks were and why. Like if you watch Daima specifically, you won't understand why Daima hit fans the way it did unless you already know what happened in GT.
Oh, okay.
So if that matters to you.
Oh God, I've got to watch GT on top of everything. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way. In terms of like, when it comes to Super, I'd say you could basically stop halfway through the last episode, if not skip the final episode of DBZ anyway, because that doesn't really count anymore in Super. They kind of ignore the final
arc is
events.
More than one. Oh God, now you're gonna make me pull up my time.
In the sense of like, as far as I know, Super either takes forever to bring up Oob or just Oob just doesn't exist anymore, because technically like Battle of the Gods and
they mention Oob because he's been born, but he's still a child during Super.
Right. It's like Super starts before the end of DBZ. It's kind of confusing.
So there, in the anime, there are 3 episodes in the what's called the Peaceful World or End of Z arc. So all of those are set after Super, after Daima, but before GT, depending on what you plan to watch.
Yeah.
But they are the ending of the original Dragon Ball manga. So I would not. I mean, I should say one of those episodes is entirely on anime only. The last 2 episodes are the ones that apply directly to. That apply directly to the adaptation of the manga.
We are now a Dragon Ball Z podcast.
I was going to say, like, at the risk of getting any further off topic, we now move on to being off topic.
Dragon Ball
Talk.
podcast.
Right.
Yay!
I mean, to be fair,
now become a Warhammer podcast.
I guess to be fair, thankfully the lack of news has meant that we've apparently been streaming for less than a half hour. So at least we're not.
But that doesn't.
I'm just saying.
With half
well,
an hour
yeah.
Of Dragon Ball timelines.
Right. I'm just saying, like, we're not necessarily we're not as especially like, oh God, let's move this along as usual. But yeah. So at the end of I didn't bring it up, as I said to Aaron before we started. I didn't bring up last podcast, but I did fall into a Warhammer 40k hyper focus at the tail end of last year. A lot of it, for the most part, was just watching lore videos, but then I'd seen people talk up Dawn of War before, and I realized, oh yeah, RTS games. I've kind of played those before, sort of. The only one I've ever played prior that I can actually remember by name, like, people probably wouldn't know. Like, the 2 that I've played prior would be like Thandor, which was apparently, like, from what, like, by modern standards, absolutely crap because it ran really slow and poorly, even for the time. And and something called Mission Humanity, where there was like humans and aliens, and that's it. Um, but yeah, the funny thing was, I probably would have covered this in Geek Talk sooner, but I ended up playing skirmishes a lot first, just PvE skirmishes, to play as like, try and get a bit of a handle on all of the factions. Um, and as I said to Aaron before we started, normal difficulty is a massive spike from easy in terms of the skirmish difficulties, because skirmish has an easy and then normal and then hard and then insane, I think. Um, whereas the campaign just has normal, which is effectively the easy, then hard, then insane. There isn't technically an easy difficulty because normal is like easy based on this. And I think even then the difficulties differ, because like skirmish, it means they get resources slower depending on like they get resources either slower or like not as much as you, but way more than they were getting prior. Um whereas in the campaign setting, in the campaign mode, the difficulty determines what their health is like. So I'm playing it on normal, so they're at like 50% health. Is what they're capped at in terms of the enemies. And yeah, like it's it says something about how involved the campaigns get the longer you get into it, because I feel like I could get through some of the early ones kind of quickly, but the longer it went and the more seriously I started taking it, suddenly the missions would take me an hour, 2 hours. You know, it was getting kind of ridiculous. Um, the thing that I find funny after the fact is that people told me that, because I was like, well, the ending of the campaign, or like the main like Cold Dawn of War campaign, kind of ends anticlimactically. And someone was like, someone said to me like, and they never follow up on it again. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck? Like like, you know, it's been around for like 20 years at this point, I think. So I'm just gonna put it out there. The Space Marines, being Space Marines, fuck up royally and unleash a demon. And it's like, whoops. Well, we'll get you next time when we've got reinforcements, and they just leave. And that's it. You spent the whole thing trying to stop this from happening, and then you accidentally make it happen. And then it just ends. It's like, okay. That's interesting. Well, like, not the whole time, because at first you're preoccupied with orcs, but still. It's very like, what? Like, it makes sense in a 40k sense. Like, someone pointed out to me, it's like, yeah, it's 40k. Everything just, things kind of ending on a whimper is kind of how the lore can usually go. Which I guess it makes sense. There are no good guys anyway. That's kind of the whole point. But yeah, it was just kind of like, huh, okay. And now I'm playing through the Imperial Guard one, which is like the first expansion campaign. Where in the definitive edition, it's just all in there rather than having to buy expansions, which I think they did that with the anniversary edition, which I guess for the record, the difference is definitive edition has somewhat better graphics. They're not like modern graphics. They're just like a bit more HD, Whereas the Anniversary Edition is basically what it used to look like. And like Definitive Edition, I was basically talked into getting because apparently there are a bunch of little quality of life improvements as well. So to that end, I would say that if people are going to get this, if they haven't already, I would say it's worth it. Mind you, because this came out, the Definitive Edition came out last year now. I mean, it'd be cheaper in US dollars, but for me, in Aussie dollars, it was like about $45. Which, for as much time as I've sunk into it already, like 22 plus hours, I think, 25 hours now, maybe. Not bad, but, if that's still a bit much for your budget, maybe wait for it to go on sale.
Okay.
And I guess for the record, I probably won't talk about the other expansions once I finish the campaigns in those because, unless I feel like I actually have something worth commenting on. And even then, I'll probably just wait until I finish, all of them and then come back to it if I come back to it at all.
Yeah, I never really got into RTS games, but I can see myself playing Warhammer.
Yeah, I was always more. I mean, yeah, I've played turn-based strategy games, but I'm typically not a huge real-time person.
Right. Yeah, my first experience with any kind of strategy thing would have probably been turn-based because I feel like that's probably more in line with Total War. And I had been playing Rome Total War in high school. So that sort of thing is interesting. It's why I'm interested in the 40k Total War game for whenever that comes out. But I'll probably have to sort out some more storage space because I'm running low on my PC at this point. Plenty of games I've had to uninstall because I've finished them.
Yeah, at least you finished them and you didn't have to uninstall them because you ran out of space completely, but that always sucks. Okay.
All right, now we move on to the summary.
Okay. Would anyone else be willing to control the stopwatch while I read my way through this?
Sure. Ready for a countdown?
Sure.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
We open on news of billionaire Wakefield, Donald Wakefield, space tourism's flight, he's bought both seats, although there's doubt about him being able to go due to his cancer. Sarah Jane points out a news program on Dr. Dexter of Pangborn Scientific Laboratory owned by Mandrake researching a cure for the Marburg virus. Sarah Jane has a list of from Miss Winters of names of all the people who served on the board of Rashoffer, linking them to the Crimson Chapter. Dr. Dexter wants Sarah Jane to investigate his lab for breach of ethics in hurrying to create the cure, to create the Marburg cure. Sarah Jane takes Dexter's memo as evidence, and asks Josh to look into Dexter's background. Dexter reports into the Keeper of the Crimson Chapter about Sarah Jane still having reservations about him. Sarah Jane walks with Will and confesses that she feels surrounded by crazy events and needs to find the puppet master of it all. She asks Will to infiltrate Pangborn, much to his chagrin. Josh reports that Dexter's info seems legit. Sarah Jane asks Josh to visit Maud, a leader of the protests against Mandrake. Maud tells Josh that her daughter Emily has been has been hacking Mandrake and is now missing. Sir John Wakefield calls Sarah Jane and promises to have someone with connections to the White Chapter meet her. Dexter escorts Will to the test subjects under the guise of Will being a new assistant. Will is stunned to see humans being used as guinea pigs for the injections and objects, but Dexter demands he continue in the name of the Keeper. Emily, who is now one of the test subjects, tries to warn Will that Dexter is lying and asks to be rescued, and tells Will that all of the subjects were once protesters. Sarah Jane meets up with Wakefield, who winds up being the Keeper of the White Chapter, who tells her she is in danger from Will, who is a Red Chapter spy. Will meets the Keeper of the Red Chapter. Wakefield plays a recording of the Red Chapter Keeper ordering Will to kill Sarah Jane, which Sarah Jane angrily doubts. Josh and Maud demand Emily be released, but Dexter says she's been infected with the Marburg virus and has been treated. Dexter releases Emily and the other captives who all appear sick. The Red Chapter Keeper asks Will to explain himself for not killing Sarah Jane, but Will refuses to do it as a physician. However, the Keeper claims that the White Chapter has sent a protector for Sarah Jane. The Keeper tells Will that the subjects are infected with a super version of the Marburg virus, and the subjects will soon infect everyone. Josh tells Maud that Emily is dying after only one night in the center, while Marburg virus traditionally has a 10-day incubation period. Josh reports back to Sarah Jane about the Marburg virus outbreak. Wakefield tells Sarah Jane about that the Keeper of the Red Chapter should have the cure. Sarah Jane leaves to retrieve the vaccine from the Red Chapter Keeper. Will tells the Keeper that he doesn't believe the prophecy, and the Keeper tells him he must atone or die with the others, as he is only inoculated for 24 hours. Josh tells Maud that authorities have quarantined the area and that he is going into the center to find the vaccine. Sarah Jane shows up and volunteers to help. No one has seen Will. Dexter phones various city centers on preparation. Will holds Dexter at gunpoint as the Keeper orders him to kill Dexter, even though he may not be the traitor. The Keeper allows Sarah Jane inside the center and her life in exchange for those infected. Will meets Sarah Jane outside with the antidote, confirming that he is part of the Red Chapter. Sarah Jane hurries inside to meet up with the Keeper, who holds her at gunpoint. The Keeper thanks Sarah Jane. Josh gives Maud a dose and Emily a double dose of the antidote, while Will and Josh venture back inside the center, where Will asks Josh how long he has been waiting to kill him. The Keeper reveals that Duke Giuliano from the Renaissance Italy is the one who wrote about the Herald, Sarah Jane, who talked about the future, thus tying Mandrake to Mandragora. Will holds a gun on Josh, who reveals he is the protector sent from the White Chapter. Sarah Jane begins to show signs of Marburg infection, and the Keeper offers to shoot her in mercy. Sarah Jane tells the Keeper to shoot her. Will and Josh tussle with the gun, and a series of shots ring out. Sarah Jane hears the gunshots, and the Keeper tells Josh is most likely dead. Sarah Jane tries to grab the gun from the Keeper, and afterward begs for mercy until another series of gunshots ring out. The end. Bum, bum, bum.
All right, you ended with 14 seconds left on the clock, which
Yay!
means you spent 4 minutes and 46 seconds. I realized halfway through that I kind of regret being the one on the clock, because this was the time that I would otherwise stop to pee without disrupting the podcast. Instead, I would need to step away during a time when I should be hosting.
Oh no!
And to avoid that being awkward, I'm actually going to do that now.
Okay. So, what's everybody up to lately? Oh, Alex is muted.
Oh, I stepped away for a sec.
Okay. I'm here alone. All alone.
I guess just to keep things moving slightly, we'll just move straight into it, because Bill always goes last anyway. So we'll start with what we liked about the audio, and we'll just go with you first, Aaron.
All right. Overall, I have a few things. I think I like that Will kind of shows that he has a little bit of a conscience. Like, he still injects, like, the protesters and stuff, but, like, he won't, like, he draws the line at Sarah Jane. So,
Mm.
there's he at least is playing, I mean, yeah, he's playing favorites, which, means that he's not, like, completely a good guy. But, yeah, compared to like well, yeah, I don't want to spoil it. Don't want to spoil it. Compared to certain other characters, he may actually be one of the better of a few situations here. But I like how
Mm.
he's acted.
Are you saying next episode you don't want to spoil?
No,
Or?
I don't want to spoil next episode. I almost spoiled it.
Okay.
Because I
Oh,
did.
so you did listen to next
I
episode
listened
already
to the
also?
first few couple of minutes of the first episode. I'm like,
I
what
see.
happened? I'm not
Okay.
waiting. I'm not waiting.
I forgot this ended on a cliffhanger, and I got to the end, and I'm like, I kind of wish I had suggested we do these as a single story now, because especially since the next season never happened, so the ending of next one is kind of weird viewed on its own. But we'll talk about that later.
So I just got on saying that Will was probably my favorite part because he comes off as conflicted. He's not completely, he plays favorites with injecting the test subjects, but he also is willing to kill. But yeah, compared to certain other characters, he may not be as bad. I don't know. Like, his kill count seems to be lower than a lot of the other ones, other than Sarah Jane. So, unless you consider all the lives that Sarah Jane has affected and how the red, the Crimson chapter has gone around killing a bunch of people because of her, then she has like the highest body count.
I mean, I haven't rewatched Mask of Mandragora, but I'm pretty sure she didn't say, make sure to write in your book that everybody needs to die. Okay? I don't remember that scene happening.
Yeah.
So.
Right. And it could very easily just be a matter of, like, misinterpreting something she said.
I was trying to remember if she, like, talks about pyramids of Mars and that or anything. Because I could just imagine she'd be like, oh, one time we went to the future and everyone was dead. And then they wrote that down in the book and it ended up creating a Crimson chapter or something. But I honestly, I don't remember. I barely remember anything from Mask of Mandragora. So
I remember a lot of people dying.
Other than that being the way that the doctor pronounced it. And I was like, you mean it's not Mandragora?
Yeah, like I'm probably going to try and rewatch The Mask of Mandragora while we're off for like in between this and the next one. Just
because we're going to be wrapping up this story because this is not really an ended story today next week. So yeah, there's time in between.
I caught it when I was binging classic Doctor Who on Pluto TV. I just had it on like constantly, and it happened to play. So I haven't seen it in years.
But I guess in terms of my favorite overall, I guess I kind of like. I mean, I like that we're still tying these back. Like, it's, I'd have to rewatch The Mask of Mandragora to get what connection there is potentially. But I do like that we're tying these back to, like, her original run in Classic. Because, like, as I joked in the boiler chat in the Discord, we had Miss Winters from Robot as the villain of the sort of series 1 set of audios. and now it's like, oh, it turns out this whole thing was sparked by like something that technically happened in the aftermath of another
Right. It does
story
feel like
from
such a
her original.
random episode to call back to. Like I never would have in my life thought, yeah, let's make a sequel story to Mask of Mandragora.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, for some reason, until I remembered the whole like until until like because it's been a while since I've listened to these. Um, so I was going in pretty like fresh, rather than actually having everything in my head about what's going on. But at first I was almost like, oh, is this gonna be like I and why the hell would it be? But in my mind I was like, wow, is this connecting to like the Time Warrior? So like a literal
Okay.
Hmm.
first adventure or something? Like that would have been odd. But then it's like, oh right, Italian. So
Mm-hmm.
it can't be. But that would have been funny. Like it's like, oh,
Yeah, because
the
that wasn't that
alien
set in
overlords
medieval England?
yeah. But it's like that would have been funny in a way of like, okay, so the overlords they were waiting for with the Sontarans would have been funny.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I
Uh,
feel
it,
Or,
like it would have made more sense maybe than Mandragora. Mandragora.
I
mm,
mean, in terms of wiping out humanity, it's pretty much that or Sutek. um, in terms of like stories that you can tie back to Sarah Jane, anyway.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um, so I'll say what I liked about this really felt cinematic to a greater extent than the other stories in this series. Like this
Yeah.
felt like an episode I would watch on TV and be at the edge of my seat the whole time. Whereas some of
Hmm.
these, like, okay, they're fine for audio dramas for walking around, but they don't really like grip me in the same way as like a really good Doctor Who episode. Whereas this, I
Mm,
really felt gripped. Like it felt like it
Hmm.
had my full attention. I didn't know how they were going to get out of any given thing. There were,
mm,
reveals and like high stakes. And I mean, there's reveals and high stakes in every story, so it's kind of really hard to put this into words. But it
yeah.
really felt cinematic in a way that something like Snowblind didn't.
You could
Mm,
definitely see it in your mind happening. The
Mm-hmm.
theater of the
yeah.
mind.
Mm,
Like I could just so imagine like what if it were a Doctor Who episode, like the Doctor walking around, like he picks up the syringe, and then he turns a
yeah.
corner, and suddenly there's a room full of sick college students in when he's
Yeah.
expecting to find animals, and turning around like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. I think it helps in some ways that like while it can be a good thing when the audios have to like, well, you can't see what we're doing, so we have to explain it through dialogue. There are some moments in this where it's very clear that like little moments where they just let it play without saying necessarily what's happening, like that little bit where uh God, I'm already blanking on his name. So Douglas or whatever. Like
Uh,
he grabs
Donald.
Donald.
Donald, that's it. When he grabs Sarah's arm and she's like just makes a grunt to like as a kind of let go of me, but doesn't actually say that. But his
Mm-hmm.
like yes is like enough for you to get like I clocked that more on the second time through, but it's like okay. It's a matter of he was grabbing her to try and stop her from leaving, and rather than saying get your hands off me or something, she's just making like vocalizing her disgust, and he's like yes, and like let's go.
By
So
the way, I forget. Have either of you watched? Since Sir Donald was brought up, something I wanted to mention that I noticed while making the title card. Have either of you watched Blake 7?
I've seen
Not
bits and pieces of it.
Okay,
not
because
yeah.
the keeper of the Crimson chapter was Jacqueline Pierce, who I know we've talked about her in the past. She had a big role in Blake 7. And
Mm-hmm.
then Sir Donald Wakefield was played by Stephen Grafe, who also he played Travis in Blake 7. And I'm kind of curious what their relationship was there. I think it's very interesting that the leaders of the two opposing factions were both actors from Blake 7.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, I forget exactly when they started doing them, but Big Finish does do Blake 7 audios.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they, depending on when, because I forget, they might have just had them on tap, or just whoever was writing, like
I
people
don't
involved with
think they did
these.
Blake 7 audios until way after this.
So yeah, it might just be a matter of like, the people involved just liked Blake 7, or depending on the writers, I forget who was that, a Terry Nation thing,
I think
or was
I
it
so.
someone
believe
else from Doctor
so.
Who?
Mm-hmm. I think it's Terry Nation.
Blake
Mm,
7 creator. Terry Nation, yes.
yeah. So like, I could see there being like through that there's kind of the Doctor Who connection. So someone maybe thought it was someone who had either, maybe if any of the writers for these had worked on it back then or were fans of it or something, maybe thought, ooh, let's see if we can get these two. That could be fun.
Right.
Kind of a thing.
So Big Finish started doing stuff for Blake 7 in 2011, whereas
So
this
yeah.
this season ended before Sarah Jane, like
Right,
School
yeah.
Reunion basically permanently ended the Sarah Jane Smith line, so that was
Hmm.
2006. So now we're moving on to what we disliked, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me find
Aaron,
my
what did you
pointer here.
dislike
Where the
about the
hell is my
story?
pointer? There we go. Jeez. Alrighty.
Something I often say in class when my cursor is on the projector screen behind me and I'm looking, trying to find it on my laptop screen in front of me.
For some reason, I still keep losing it. There. Wait, what? There we go. All right. I guess I'm up.
Mm-hmm.
Disliked about in general about the cereal, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say I didn't like how they revealed that Josh was the protector that was sent by the White Chapter. I felt like he worked better as just kind of a naive outsider who, was just trying to help Sarah Jane out as best as he could. Especially in light since
Okay, so just his whole role, not like how
yeah,
he was revealed, but just the fact that he was.
yeah, just the fact that he was, because then everything kind of shrinks to like, I guess you could ask if the other if her other assistant was also part of the White Chapter and like, or if she was actually kind of a true outsider. So I don't know, because like now the world just kind of shrinks to just these two chapters fighting and everything. And
I think the difference is they said like Nat was somebody that Sarah knew like off screen before the series started,
okay.
whereas Josh we literally see them meet in. I don't know if did you end up listening to the first series? I
No,
know
I
you weren't
never.
on when we streamed. Okay,
I
so
didn't.
that's
I
part of it. Yeah,
have
when
it, but yeah.
mhm. Yeah, so in the very first audio of of Sarah Jane Smith, we see Sarah Jane and Josh meet for the first time,
Mhm.
whereas we never see her meet Nat because she's always known Nat because they met off screen.
Okay.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah, it was just. It felt kind of like it kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. Like let's just make this dude, the protector instead of uh anybody else or anything. I thought it might have been
Mm.
interesting if it were Maud, but Maud wouldn't have been around her all the time. Yeah, I
Right.
don't know. It just kind of came. Maybe it's a little cliche too. Like, surprise! I'm
Okay.
instead of the mole, I'm the person who's supposed to be protecting you, and I've been here the whole
Hmm.
time. So I don't know.
Mm.
So.
I thought it was handled in a really interesting way, and part of that is stuff that we can't talk about until next podcast.
Mhm.
Like it kind of explains some of his actions,
Hmm.
but it did leave me wondering, like, okay, so was this planned in series one, or did they kind of change his character at the start of series two? And even
Mm.
the things that he has done that get attributed to him being in this role of the White Chapter, I think are all in series two. So it's like
Mm.
in series, like, is the idea meant to be that in series one he met her? I mean, obviously, like if he's in this role and was assigned to protect her, series one should be attributed to that. But
Mhm.
I don't think there's any evidence in series one, so it does feel like
Mm.
a retcon because of that.
Yeah, like I can see
Possibly.
them like him being approached after he meets her, like, oh hey, there's someone who's around her all the time. We might as well just recruit him to protect her.
Which
That
so that I mean, we don't necessarily know that's not the case yet, but
mm-hmm.
that is something that you're going to have a bone to pick with next time
Mm-hmm.
because
Okay.
they explain
Because
where
that's
he came from next time.
okay, because that's
Mm.
basically why the Red Chapter recruited Will. I'm sure if they could find Harry Sullivan, they would have recruited him, but instead they had to settle for his half
Harry wouldn't have
brother.
no, because Harry wouldn't have
Yeah,
done it.
Harry wouldn't have done it. Yeah.
They
Well,
would
yeah,
have
I
known in
mean,
advance Harry was never going to kill Sarah Jane.
Yeah.
well, yeah.
um. Yeah, I will say it's been so long since I've listened to some of these. I'm like, I feel like I recall him killing someone to save her in series one, but I don't remember the specific context, or if I'm just getting that muddled with like the opening of this one, like this
I
series.
think yeah, because in this series he's killed two people. I think. Well, once in each of the two stories before this. I think,
Hmm.
I mean, it's also been a while since I've listened to series one, so I might be mixing that up. Did he kill somebody in
Hmm.
Antarctica? The Russian lady?
Uh, I don't think he did. At least I can't exactly remember, but I feel like he might have in the opening
He killed Nat's
story.
boyfriend,
Hmm.
Oh yeah,
but
that's
I'm trying
right.
to remember
It's
the
like
other person he killed.
yeah. Because I'm trying to remember if he killed someone in series one, or it's just that he was never in a position to save her by doing that. Um, in series one, so it just never happened. But yeah, I could see that, especially since I don't think these were like released annually. I think it was like the first one, and then a couple of years, and then the second.
Um, so the first series was in 2002. The second series was in 2006. And then the
Yeah, so
third
there's
series was hinted at but never happened because of
yeah.
BBC.
So, like, I could see it being a matter of maybe after, maybe even in the wake of the response to the first series of audios, um, or depending on how it went, maybe they pivoted in the gap between, and like that would explain why
And,
maybe it feels so left field.
right, yeah, and you know what I'm thinking? I have a feeling that I wish I could remember. Like I'd have to re-listen to series one, but I think Josh might have killed someone to save Sarah Jane at the end of series one. But it's not on
Hmm.
TARDIS.wiki.
If not her, probably Nat.
Right,
Like,
Mm-hmm.
So you could read it more as,
Well,
oh,
I
he
remember
was just
Sarah Jane at
protecting a
some point
friend.
has the sentence, "You've killed 2 people now to protect me."
Hmm.
But I don't
And
remember which
yeah,
story that sentence was in.
right, yeah, because that could have either been when he killed the like Nat's boyfriend who turned out to be dodgy,
Yeah,
or it could have been in Snowblind.
Hmm.
Um,
right. And yeah, TARDIS.wiki doesn't exactly have like a body count table for each
yeah.
character.
Uh,
Okay, so that was what Aaron disliked about this story, and
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
we managed to avoid giving spoilers for next week. Alex, what did you dislike about this story?
um, I guess on a similar note, it's one of those things where I'm like, is it more of a scene or is it more of a overall? I guess on a similar note, uh, Doctor, like that Dexter guy being immediately revealed as dodgy kind of bothers me. Like, that feels like doing it, like, basically as soon as he's talked to them, feels like it feels way too early.
I see. So, oh, I see. Yeah, because so basically what you're saying is having that scene with the keeper
Mm.
versus if they had waited until he turned around and is like, prove your loyalty to the Crimson
Yeah.
Chapter.
Yeah. Like, if it had been, if we'd held off until that, I would have, like, I feel like it would have landed better.
That would have been a jaw dropping moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least it, like, even if you'd seen it, like, I half expect that they wrote it the way they did in terms of, oh, let's put this in here instead of leaving it until there, is them going, we've got one left after this. People are going to figure this guy's dodgy. Let's just get it out of the way.
Hmm.
um, but, like, yeah, it would have been more interesting to me if, yeah, like, when he's like, prove your loyalty to
Or
Will,
or
to
maybe the writer thought that like because then that would mean the audience would know that Will was going into a trap, but the
mm,
but Will, but the characters wouldn't.
right. Um, yeah, like, it's more of a nitpick. Like, it doesn't, like, extremely bother me, but it is also like, oh, that felt particularly early to get that reveal. Because that's like in the first 15 minutes,
Right.
probably the first 10 minutes.
So that brings it to me, and what I'm gonna say is probably my least favorite thing is I wish we saw more of who Emily was as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So we see
Yeah.
her basically when she's dying, and we see other people talk about her, and like give these descriptions of how she would behave, or how she does behave, or how she did behave. And it feels like that's a character that it would have been really great to see her in action, but instead we kind of were getting this tell don't show thing of like,
Mm-hmm.
oh well, here's something she did, and here's an argument that we had, and those are scenes that it would have been cool to see.
Yeah. Like, at first I almost was like, wait, was she a character and I just completely forgot? Like, was she in other
Right?
stuff
Yeah,
or
I was
something?
trying to
Mm-hmm.
remember if she was from the last time we met Maud or not, but no, she
Right.
was conveniently off screen that time and then
Right.
introduced this time.
So, like, at most, she's probably been named before, but
Right.
not, but just only spoken of, never
Mm-hmm.
seen.
I think it's they did it that way because she's supposed to be a missing person, and when someone's missing, that's all you really can do is just give facts about them, because obviously they're not there for you to actually see them, to see their actions or see what
Hmm.
they
Mm.
do. But I understand that too. Is it would be nice to have her built up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Add more suspense, I
One
should
way
say.
they could have gone about it, like not saying that they had to do this or anything, but one way they could have gone about it is if they started the story with maybe the argument between Emily and Maud, and
Yeah.
then Maud goes off to
Mm.
find, like she's like, oh, I'm embarrassed that you're my daughter, and then Emily stomps off, and then the next thing we see of her, she's a missing person.
Mm. So yeah, don't like completely go all the way and like show her getting like show have her getting captured. Just she wanders off and that's it,
Mm-hmm.
and then
That I think
come back to her later.
that's something we'd also like. I don't think this story needed it by any means, but that would
Mm.
not be a weird thing for a Doctor Who story to do either. Like thinking of
Right?
like
Yeah.
the start of Terra Firma, where it could have
Mm.
been like we just start off with, we don't know who these two people are, Emily and one of her compatriots. They're like
Yeah.
sneaking into the facility, and then someone jumps them, and we don't
You're
know
right.
anything else about them until we meet Emily again. Like that's something Big Finish would
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah.
But either way, just humanizing her a bit beyond like
Yeah.
uh, you know, patient.
Mm.
And I don't remember if the next episode has a bit more of her personality or not. Now that she's been, well, I think she's in like a coma because she's like she was the patient zero more or less. But yeah, we'll see when we get to that next week or in 2 weeks.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Aaron, what's your favorite scene?
Um. Hmm.
Oh, I forgot to look up images to put for bad. Oh well,
Yeah.
too late now. Moving slides.
Hmm.
That's what happens when I'm pretty sure we're all ADHD here.
I think. Um. I think Sarah Jane just being so kind of accepting of Will. I don't know if she's exactly forgiving of him. Maybe she does. Because he came out, was willing to like hand out the antidote to people. Um, but like just when he reveals himself and she's just like, I know, and I hope you don't want more people hurt too, and she's trying to put her faith in him. So, yeah. Like I thought that was kind of touching. It showed kind of her kind of one of the better attributes of her character, like just forgiving,
Mm.
I guess, or magnanimous, or
Mm-hmm.
like we
Yeah,
she
when
could
he
she could
was
have
like,
wished death on him, especially for like
right,
you know, but he.
for even for just approaching her
Mm-hmm.
under false pretenses in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sarah Jane can get pretty spicy too. So the fact that she's willing to just kind of shrug this off and move on with everything, that really says a lot. So,
Mm. I
um,
think it's also a matter of the situation she's
mhm,
in at the time. She's like, there's way more important things right now going on
mhm,
for me to just stop and rant at you for 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna like, she's feeling what she's feeling, but she's not like, I don't have the energy to bite your head off right now.
mhm,
And like, I guess it's also a matter of like, she's kind of in shock, doesn't feel like the right word, but like, oh, Sir Donald wasn't lying to me.
Right.
Shit.
mhm,
But
I think she
also,
may also be processing like she's only alive because Will did not follow his
yeah.
orders.
Yeah. So it's like she's probably also like, you could have killed me by now if you wanted. So clearly there must be like some good in you somewhere.
mhm,
Um so like she's probably just holding out hope that this new friend she assumes she's made could actually be brought back from where he is.
mhm. Yeah, I just thought it was actually pretty touching that she was able to do that,
Mm.
and and just kind of, and also to kind of stay focused, I guess, too. So,
Mm-hmm.
mhm. Right, that's it for me.
All right, Alex.
Um, a quote. The quote that stuck with me the most is the leader of the Crimson chapter being finally meeting Sarah, and Sarah saying she's insane, and she's like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to, like, achieve what I have to, and whatever that makes me ruthless, not insane. And I'm like,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
fair point. We do not actually have to blame this on mental illness. This just means that she's evil and a
Right.
bitch.
I
Like,
know that what I'm doing is evil.
yeah. Like, it was kind of like, oh wow, for like 2006, that's an interesting thing for a, because usually the normal argument would be like the typical like mad scientist. Oh, the line between, there's a, like, a fine line between genius and insanity, whatever bullshit. But
Mm-hmm.
instead, she's just like, no, I'm just like cutthroat. Like, I'm just willing to get rid of all of you if that means I achieve what I want.
I mean, she's kind of the
Um,
ultimate businesswoman then.
yeah. So yeah, that was refreshing.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I'm going to say the reveal that the guinea pigs were human. I mean, I don't think it was a super shock to the audience, like the way they were saying guinea pigs, like they're
Mm.
not actual guinea pigs.
Yeah.
But still,
Mm-hmm.
I think the scene was handled really well. Like it was, like we were saying, you could kind of see it happening. Will acted his ass off, I think, during that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, his name, Tom Chadbin. Uh, I thought, once the shoe dropped, that no, this is a room full of people that have been also, we kidnapped them and forced them to undergo testing. Oh, and also, uh, the Crimson Chapter knows that you're here. Just a series of unsettling reviews. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
shit is bad. Oh, it's worse. Oh, yeah, it's really bad.
Mm.
All right, moving from there,
Aw,
your
guinea
least
pigs.
favorite scene, Aaron.
All
Yes.
right. um, I think I get to go first, so I'm gonna say it's the cliffhanger at the end.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's like the
The
I
moment
could
when I was like, "Oh shit, I forgot this ended at a cliffhanger." No, we should have done
I
both stories at once.
I mean, like I honestly I don't really have one, but if I did, it would be that this ended on a cliffhanger. Which isn't the worst thing in the world. Like, it was suspenseful at least, but like I just kind of wish for a little bit of resolution, a little bit more. So, other than a series of gunshots, like everybody gets
Mm-hmm.
shot. So, yeah.
And I'm trying to think. Have they? I think they've done that in this. Oh well, I never, because I was gonna say, well, yeah, never mind. I was gonna say something, but that might imply talking about what happens after the gunshot. So never mind. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah. So like we don't know if the keeper shot someone. We don't know because Sarah Jane's begging for her life. She struggled with the gun with the keeper. And maybe presumably the keeper kept the gun. So did the keeper shoot Sarah? Did someone shoot the keeper? What happened between Will
Okay,
and
so
Josh?
since you're saying that, I can say what I was gonna say, because
Mhm.
I think we had a scene like that, not at the end of an episode, but didn't we have a scene like that in Buried Secrets, where there was a gunshot and then we had to wait a few minutes to figure out who
Yes,
got
that's
shot by
it.
whom?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because didn't Sarah Jane get shot? No, it was Nat. I think
She
it
had
was.
been shot already and was falling unconscious, and then Josh was killing Nat's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, because I think it was like the one where Josh shoots the boyfriend, and then we find out in the hospital as Sarah Jane is like recovering, they tell her what happened to clarify
Mm-hmm.
things.
Yeah.
So, but this one is a little bit better done than that. It's not quite as confusing. I mean, it's kind of like a guided confusion. Like you don't know, between Josh or Will, which one of them may have been injured, or if both of them were injured. You don't.
Yeah, that's
Same
right,
thing
because
with.
somebody got shot outside. We don't know who.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we don't know if the keeper, shot Sarah Jean, or if someone outside of the situation shot the keeper, or I don't think Sarah Jane had a gun because she wouldn't be begging for her life if she had a gun. So something happened, but we don't know what.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. I hate the whole cliffhanger thing because then you gotta wait to listen to it unless you're me and don't. So
I mean, to that point, you could argue it achieved what it had to. It
mm-hmm.
made you want to listen to the next one.
Yeah.
Indeed.
um,
If you were buying these as they release month by month.
mm, uh, um, hmm. For
What's your least favorite scene?
me, let's see. Um, God, I guess for lack of anything else, and it's not that I hate it, it's just that it's kind of funny when it's not meant to be. Um, Will shooting Dexter. It's just like, so the keeper wants us to move these, move the cures somewhere else. It's like, all right, let's just go to the fridge. Turn around. Hey, what the? Get shot.
I think that scene would have made sense if Will was betraying the Crimson Chapter almost.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
instead it's just like not only is Dexter going to trust him, I think way too much given the circumstances, but
Right.
also it's the keeper that's betraying him in the first place, and it's like it feels
Hmm.
kind of telegraphed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's killed for having an ego,
Hmm.
basically, because she said that.
Which we haven't really seen that ego, I don't think.
Well, sort of, but not really. It's like it's more of in how he talks about stuff rather than anything he
Mm-hmm.
actually directly says about, like, oh, but this research, blah blah blah, whatever. Like, yeah, she's more like he was thinking above his station or something like that, where it's like, yeah, he was becoming potentially a liability, so I
Mm-hmm.
just got rid of him anyway because fuck it.
Ruthless businesswoman.
Which, by the way, Dexter was
Hmm.
played by Davros from Destiny of the Daleks.
um, but yeah, it was just so funny how
He
like it
was not in
almost.
Blake 7. I thought he might be, but he wasn't.
But yeah, it was just so funny that it came off as like so farcical of just yeah, like as you said, like Dexter like seemingly going along with it so willingly,
Mm-hmm.
so easily.
Not going to question
Like,
anything.
Right?
yeah,
Like
just yes,
I would
let me
not
turn my
I would not trust the guy that I just had to that I was just lecturing about his lack of results and lack of loyalty. I would not trust him with something, that important of instructions.
I would at
Yeah,
least
it's
have
like,
asked for proof. Like, do you have any proof that she said this?
Right.
yeah,
Like
like,
let me call her up real quick. Which the
yeah.
funny thing is she would have backed it up, but we don't know. We didn't know.
I mean,
He doesn't know that.
Yeah, like the one thing that stops it being completely like, wait, what? Is the fact that he doesn't like he has that reaction of where'd you get that gun? Because it's like, yeah, he wouldn't have had one on him when he came in. Um, in terms of like came into the building. So that sort of element of it is like okay, but like I would assume he's a very fit guy. He probably could have beaten you up. So like maybe don't turn your back on the guy that could have just knocked you out from behind. Now, like even like if all he was gonna do is like oh yeah, like I guess the only way of that is like, well, he wouldn't want to ruin like the samples or whatever of the cure, so he's not gonna like knock me out while I'm like fiddling around with him. But still, it's like yeah, it's just the way that's the way that's played. It's just so yes, let me turn my back on you for a minute while I get
Right.
these things out of the fridge. So like, which is probably when he pulled the gun out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just so funny. When it's clearly not meant to be, but just the way it's played is very funny.
Right. So for my sake, I'm going to say my least favorite scene was the scene with Sarah going to meet Wakefield, because it seems unnecessary. Like, I could see the point of like, oh yeah, if this were an on-screen episode, it's really important that we actually see his face that one time. We get this reveal of who this person is, and and Sarah Jane gets to see him. This is an audio drama, so there's no difference between having a conversation in person or over the phone. There
Mm.
was no good reason for him to come and risk his self and risk being seen just to have this conversation with Sarah that he could have had over the phone.
Mm.
The fact that he showed up, tipped off his identity to the Crimson Chapter, so it harmed his goals to show up. And it really just
Yeah.
felt like a reason to have Sarah wander off somewhere while the plot was happening so that she could show up later.
Mm.
And it it didn't seem to contribute much other than,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of noises happening, and then a guy who we were hearing his voice on the phone, now we're hearing
Mm.
his voice in person, and it sounds exactly the same because it's an audio drama.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like I do wonder if maybe it was going to be handled differently somehow, but because like I don't know if this was like always meant to be a four-part series, or if it was supposed to be five, like the five or whatever, like the previous one.
Right.
And they like if it was like, well, the first one was five and maybe it didn't do as well as they hoped or something, maybe, so they had to trim it down, or just something happened, they had to trim one down, so they had to condense some stuff. And this was like maybe a result of that. Like I don't know, but I could maybe see that having happened. So they're like, okay, we need to get this guy out in the